Alright, let's dive into something that's got the wrestling world buzzing right now. So, picture this, TNA is teasing the termination of Harley Hudson's contract, and it's all going down on the 30th of July Thursday Night Impact. But here's the thing, this isn't just about a wrestler potentially losing their job. It's about the bigger picture, the politics, and the human stories behind the scenes. Personally, I think this situation is a perfect example of how wrestling promotions balance talent, loyalty, and business. It's not just about wins and losses, it's about what you bring to the table beyond the ring. What makes this really interesting is the dynamic between Santino Marella and Daria. Marella, who's been a vocal supporter of Hudson, points out that she moved to another country for this opportunity. That's a huge sacrifice, and it speaks to her dedication. But Ray, she's all about results. Hudson hasn't won a match in months, and Ray's ready to take that to the board of directors. From my perspective, this clash of ideologies is what makes wrestling promotions so fascinating. You've got the heart versus the bottom line, and it's a debate that's as old as the sport itself. One thing that immediately stands out is how quickly things can change in wrestling. Hudson was part of a tag team with Myla Grace, but Grace is already gone. Then, Hudson gets eliminated in the first round of the Knockouts television title tournament by Thea Hale from NXT. If you take a step back and think about it, this is a microcosm of the wrestling industry. Opportunities are fleeting, and one moment you're part of a team, the next you're fighting for your spot. What this really suggests is that wrestlers have to constantly prove themselves, even when circumstances are beyond their control. What many people don't realize is how much goes on behind the scenes. Hudson's situation isn't just about her in-ring performance, it's about her role in the locker room, her relationship with management, and her value to the brand. In my opinion, this raises a deeper question. How do promotions measure a wrestler's worth? Is it purely about wins and losses, or does character, charisma, and locker room presence matter too? I think it's a mix, but the fact that Ray is willing to overlook Hudson's contributions outside the ring shows how cutthroat this business can be. A detail I find fascinating is how this story connects to broader trends in wrestling. TNA is clearly in a phase of reshaping its roster, and Hudson's potential termination is part of that. But it's also about the narrative they are building. Are they positioning Ray as the ruthless authority figure? Or is this a setup for Hudson to prove herself against the odds? Personally, I think there's more to this story than meets the eye. It's not just about cutting fat, it's about storytelling, and how promotions use real-life drama to fuel their narratives. If you ask me, the most thought-provoking part of this is what it means for wrestlers like Hudson. She's at a crossroads, and her career could go in any direction from here. Will she fight to stay in TNA? Will she move to another promotion? Or will she step away from wrestling altogether? This raises a deeper question about resilience in the face of adversity. Wrestling is a tough business, and moments like these define careers. What this really suggests is that no matter how hard you work, sometimes factors beyond your control can determine your future. So, here's my closing thought. Wrestling isn't just about what happens in the ring. It's about the stories, the sacrifices, and the decisions that shape careers. Harley Hudson's situation is a reminder that every wrestler has a story, and sometimes those stories don't have happy endings. But it's those moments of uncertainty that make the triumphs so much sweeter. What do you think? Is TNA making the right call, or is Hudson getting a raw deal? Let me know in the comments below.